Well, we did the worst, now it's time for the best. Hello my fellow oddities, and welcome to the best design choices in Mortal Kombat history. These are the small details that, when featured as a part of a Mortal Kombat character's design, makes them absolutely peak. Some of these are specific to one character, some to a group like the ninjas, or some just generally look good on everyone. So let's dive right into the first great design choice. I always like to make sure I'm not all negative. Last time out, I talked about how Mortal Kombat 9 turned the cyborgs into these transformer robot-looking things. But to give the MK9 cyborgs their props, one thing they did which was fantastic were the glowing colors for the cyborgs. Green for Cyrax, blue for Sector. Technically this did start with Deadly Alliance though, as Cyrax had some glowing bits on his body, same with Sector in Tournament Edition, but MK9 definitely popularized it and gave them the specific iconic color set, and they've come back in every game since. Even in MK1, which had the classic MK3 outfits for their cameo versions, they made the eyes their respective colors, which looks so fire. What I don't appreciate is the playable version of Sector having green eyes instead of blue, because come on, it can't be that hard to be consistent. But we're being positive today. This just sorta completes the cyborgs' designs. Yeah, yellow and red is the iconic ketchup and mustard, but adding the extra color makes them that much more recognizable from a color palette perspective. You think of yellow and green, that's Cyrax. Red and blue, that's Sector. And there are no other characters that associate with that combo. Moving on to the next one, let's talk about a character-specific design choice that doesn't appear nearly enough, and that's Raiden with a cape. Usually, NRS doesn't like doing caped characters since the physics are wonky. Of course, they kinda have to for Injustice. Superman and Batman without capes would just be super wrong. But for MK, they try to refrain from them, probably a big reason why we didn't get Spawn for so long. But Midway didn't seem to have this issue, as the 3D era had Raiden rocking that cape, which looked, no pun intended, godlike. It's so fitting for a character like Raiden, who has to strike that balance of being physically imposing in a place of authority above the common human, while also having to be somewhat a symbol of hope and protection. Deadly Alliance Raiden is one of his best designs for this very reason. The cape just adds so much, makes him feel like royalty in a position of power, and I really think every single god or god-adjacent character should have something resembling a cape. Fujin, Rain, Shao Kahn, Shinnok, hell, if he ever comes back, which is not likely, I'd like to see Taven rocking one, and come to think of it, his brother Dagon does wear one. Unfortunately, this will never be very common just because of NRS's current design philosophy. The last time Raiden wore a cape was in Injustice, and before that, it was his dark form in MK9, which I do remember looking kinda wonky. Next one I want to talk about is very generalized. A bunch of characters have had this feature, and that's the white eyes. There's no point in running down a list of everyone cause we'd be here all day, but the key most badass looking ones are Scorpion. Goes without saying. You think of MK characters with white eyes, you think of Scorpion. Shang Tsung and Raiden, the OGs of the white eyes. Scorpion didn't have them until MK2. I think Shang Tsung specifically almost never has them, but in my opinion they look badass every time he does, especially on the old version of him. Noob Saibot, always gotta shout my boy, and obviously the white eyes contrast very well to his pitch darkness. Tanya, this one might be the most crucial in changing a character from an okay design to absolute peak. I think that's because of the addition of black markings around her eyes as well, which added some nice contrast. No clue why the story mode version of her in MKX didn't have these. And the MK1 version of her too. That one's even more baffling. Sub-Zero can look pretty cool with them as well sometimes, though I kinda prefer when Kwai has the normal eyes, cause he's supposed to be the more human of the two Sub-Zeros. And finally, Sindel. It's weird how all the non-evil or mind-controlled versions of her have the white eyes, but the actually evil one doesn't. That's kinda cool actually. Switches up your expectations. Twindell is trash though, so I hope we never see it again. There's really not much to say on this. The white eyes just look cool on probably over half the characters in the series. Don't actually count, that's probably not true. Next up, we gotta redeem Ermac from the last video. I talked about this man's decayed, crusty lips and skin and stuff. Let's talk about the wrapped up mummy mask beginning in Mortal Kombat Deception. Now this I love. The wraps give him that feel that he needs to be held together to prevent from falling apart, or in this case from a million souls bursting out of him. It also makes him more mysterious. Covering up his face more than the other ninjas makes it so you can't tell what he looks like, and with him being an amalgamation of souls, it makes sense he wouldn't want to show any unique facial features because he wouldn't really identify with any one face. It also makes him so damn intimidating. Ermac used to be actually my favorite character in the series before I got into the lore, and this haunting look for him was a major reason why, cause I was, and still am, a sucker for horror characters, and this version of him can definitely pass for one. Makes him stand out so nicely among the other ninjas. MK9's version of the wrapped mask also shows a little of his nose, which I don't know why, but it just adds something that makes it a little cooler. I still like the Deception outfit overall more, but that outfit with the MK9 mask, peak Ermac. I also want to shout out Reptile's design from Shaolin Monks, which also has the wraps. I don't think it fits as well as it does for Ermac, but it is still my favorite Reptile design, so I thought I'd mention it. Next up, people who have seen my design ranking videos know I'm a sucker for this, quilted vest patterns. This is mostly featured on the ninjas who have those large ninja vests, especially in earlier games, and I just love when they have those sort of quilted or diamond pattern on them. It's just so eye-catching to me. It's not just pure yellow or pure blue or whatever color. It just keeps your attention a bit more without over-designing it, which I feel MK struggles with a lot. You don't always gotta put more stuff on there, just give it a neat pattern and it won't feel as empty. It's why Spider-Man's design works so well. I also think the pattern gives them a little more of an authentic feel, and not like a Halloween costume, which is ironic because the original outfit was a Halloween costume. But shout out to the designs which feature this rare but outstanding design choice. The MK2 Ninja designs, Shaolin Monk Scorpion, MK vs DC Scorpion, Armageddon Reptile, and Armageddon Rain. And let's round out the ninjas by talking about the Assassin hoods. The first game in 1992 is actually what started out with these more loose hoodies before going for more form-fitting ones in MK2. And then they wouldn't really be seen again until MK9, where the one and only go-to noob Cybot rocked that Reaper hood, which restarted the trend all over again. And I still think the first time is the best. MK9 noob just goes so hard, and the hood is like 80% of the reason why. He has a design without it, and it just feels wrong. MK9 would also include Ermac's alternate design, featuring a hood as well, and this design is usually in people's top 3 to 5 Ermac outfits, and the hood would return in MKX for his default. Speaking of MKX, it would give Scorpion and Tremor looser hoods as well. I think it looks great on Tremor, and I don't really enjoy Scorpion's MKX design, but the hood is not the reason why. I think on most other designs, it would look great. Case in point, his MK11 design, which also had the same type of hood, but it looks much better this time around. MK11 also had Rain with those hoodie skins which were just absolutely immaculate. Mwah, perfection. And MK1 would have Rain and Reptile in skins with the hood for their default. I don't like Rain's design too much, but Reptile's is amazing. And finally, Smoke would also get an alternate skin with the hood in MK1, which is one of his most popular outfits. Now, I don't think it works for every ninja. Sub-Zero would look kinda weird with it. For the most part though, it's responsible for some peak ninja designs. Next design choice is definitely one of the certified hood classics of recent memory, Johnny Cage's chest tattoo. See, I told you I don't hate tattoos. I mean, talk about telling you who the character is through the design. Literally. It's one of those design choices that appears for the first time, and then you kind of forget it wasn't always there. Especially true for me, since MK9 is kind of the first game I can really remember playing for an extended period of time. After playing it so long, I just got so used to it that it's like, yeah, this was always a thing, and my brain kind of retroactively changed how the original Johnny designs looked to give him the chest tattoo. I was gaslighting myself. But it just perfectly represents Johnny's ego and self-centeredness. He feels the need to, while showing off his physique by the way, remind people of his name every time they look at him. I can just imagine Johnny laying there on the tattoo bed just cheesing the whole time. And then you see his progression in MKX and MK11, where gradually he starts to show less and less of the tattoo. And I know in the 3D era, specifically Deadly Alliance, Johnny did have a dragon tattoo, which is definitely a more normal tattoo to have, but 1, they don't really show his character the way the Johnny one does, and 2, I just always thought it was kinda ugly and random, like a lot of the MK1 tattoos. But yeah, just another example of NRS trying 10 times harder with Johnny than any other character. I swear, we would have lapped the original timeline by now if every character had this much effort put into them. But now, top 3. This next one's kinda odd because it's technically a 2-in-1, but it's the same general idea for both, and that's Reptile's Reptilian skin and Tremor's Rocky skin. Let's get the less contentious one out of the way first, Tremor. Of course, he was introduced as a palette swap in Special Forces, but we never really saw him as a true Earthbender since he didn't have those rock abilities in gameplay until MKX, which made him a real playable character with really intriguing abilities. And the design absolutely aced it, probably the best design MKX has in the whole game. And it gave Tremor this cracked, rocky skin, which transitions seamlessly into his powers. Again, this looks amazing, and I think when they brought it back in MK1, and especially in MK Snowblind, it looked even better. The molten lava design of Snowblind's Tremor, along with him just being this behemoth, is so badass. I love it so much. Please, in MK13, make Tremor look like this, and it's worth putting him on the roster for that alone. But now, Reptile. Listen, I know most MK fans prefer him with the human skin, and I get it, you like him being disguised and mysterious, and not obvious that he's reptilian. But man, I just love how it distinguishes him from other ninjas when he has the green scaly skin. It also gives him more distinct outfit opportunities since it doesn't have to be all green to let you know, hey, this is Reptile. And where there is green, it can be a more diverse shade to contrast his skin. I also don't really get why Reptile would disguise himself. I never really got it. What does he get out of being human? It's not like there ain't 4-armed dragon men walking around the tournaments. Y'all, human Reptile enjoyers, tell me in the comments why you like him so much, cause to me, it just makes him another palette swap rather than a unique looking character. But maybe that is what you like about it. I know a lot of people want to go back to the days where all the ninjas look the same. For me though, that ain't it. I want Reptile and Tremor to be sticking out from the pack. But let's get to my top 2 Mortal Kombat design choices. Firstly, we're talking Mileena, and we're talking Mileena's veil, originating in Mortal Kombat Deception. There aren't too many ninja characters who look better with the veil rather than the type mask. The only one that I can think of that have even tried besides Mileena is Raiden in Armageddon 9 and X. And while I do think it can look pretty good on the Son of Argus, it just fits Mileena like a damn glove. Seriously, there are layers to how well it works for her. Firstly, it's perfect for allowing her to just lift it up and take a bite out of someone, rather than in some other games where she has to pull the whole mask down. It also gives her a kind of elegant, but at the same time creepy look to her, which especially looks good with Deception's large, bell-shaped sleeves. The way it all flows together is just exquisite. Hey, it's almost unanimously seen as her best design for a reason. The veil would come back a few times in MK9 for her alternate, MKX in her Condom and Vampire designs, but for whatever reason MK11 didn't give it as a gear option. I truly don't understand how they fumble this type of stuff so hard sometimes. Thankfully, MK1 does have a couple of skins with it, including her badass Deception recreation and her Empress of Outworld outfit. Honestly, I'm kinda glad they haven't experimented with trying this design choice with too many other characters, cause it just feels so personal to Mileena. Her mask being slightly different from the rest will make anyone who's never seen her before go, hey, why is hers different? What's under there? Boy, are they in for a surprise. A good one or a bad one depends on how freaky they are. But the best Mortal Kombat design choice is, come on, you could see this all the way from Antarctica, the Sub-Zero Ice Arms. I have no clue how this isn't a staple of every design. It's in like every other game when it should be in literally every design. I can't think of a single one that wouldn't benefit from this. Technically, the first appearance of the Ice Arms was in MK4, but it also had ice legs which looked really weird, so we don't really think about that too much. It was popularized by Deadly Alliance, especially on that masked alternate design. I wasn't around back then, but I have to assume everyone loved this. I mean, what is there not to love? A cryomancer with ice arms. You know, the guy with ice coming out of his arms, having ice arms. It's pretty cool, I have to say. I'm sorry, I didn't even mean that one. But it wouldn't return in Deception. To be fair though, that game did give him one of his best designs of all time, so MK vs DC would bring them back, hooray. But then MK9, which had a design which took a lot from the MK vs DC one, didn't have the ice arms. For what purpose? MKX would bring them back though through his Cryomancer variation, and then MK11 would remove them again with no gear or skin options. Aww. But then MK1 would bring it back, and that's the last game to release, so cheers, we're ending on a positive note for once. And you also can't forget the Shaolin Monk Sub-Zero, the best Sub-Zero design. Of course, it has the ice arms because it has all the best parts of Sub-Zero. But yeah, what else do I say? They just look really badass. And that should be enough for them to come back in every single game. And they go with every design, so don't say they wouldn't fit this one or that one. But that'll do it for today. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite MK design choices are. Subscribe and like if you want, and that's wraps on this one, my fellow oddities. I'll see you next time.